a lot of this paranoia comes from parents that never learn how to have healthy relationships with human beings. And this is something that I've learned. I didn't know this as a child. I just thought people are scary and, you should fear them, But what I realized is that's not the case. Everybody does not have it out for you. Everybody don't want to hurt you. Everybody's not going to hurt you. Everybody is not going to disrespect you. But I was raised to fear the world and to look at people like they ain't bleep, right? That was the philosophy that was ingrained in me as a child. Hello, ladies and gents. I've been trying my hardest to get this screen as clean as I could. Literally used a leaf. But anyway, what's poppin'? It is Sydney Island here. That's Island with the Y, not an S. Unfortunately, the sun is not out today. But let me just jump right into the topic of the video. So, yesterday was Mother's Day. And I knew that it was coming up. And I told myself that I was going to avoid social media on Mother's Day. Because if y'all have been following my videos, me and my mom do not have the best relationship. I haven't spoken to her in months. I literally had to block her. And recently I got confirmation from a friend, a co-star of this short film that I was in recently. And we were talking and I've been through a lot emotionally when it comes to our relationship. And when I was talking to this female who she's like 7 years older than me, so it was kind of like a big sister, little sister kind of vibe, which I needed. And she said that she blocked her mom for a whole year because her mom was just really, really mean to her. Had been really mean to her when she first had her son, when she was 18, and she didn't expect it, but she was like, after she had her son and she went back home, her mom was just super, super mean to the point of being abusive, right? And so she said she had not talked to her mom for a whole year, and it kind of like, I felt like a weight was like lifted off of my shoulders when I heard her say that, because it made me feel not so bad about having to block my mom. And man, I've been having so many bad dreams at night, and I think I just fear dreams. But I would have dreams not that long ago about my mom like passing away, which I have blocked my mom and unblocked her off and on for God knows how long. And well, it really hasn't been that long. It's only been like maybe it might be a year of me blocking her off and on, so that is kind of long. Man, it's a lot. There's a lot to this whole case. It's a case. The case of the, chaotic, tumultuous, disheartening, gut-wrenching relationship of a black woman and her black mother. There's a reason why I have been watching a podcast called the Black Mother Wound podcast with Jennifer Arnice, who is, oh my God, that woman got the gift. She is a black mother wound whisperer, okay? She got it going on. I haven't watched her in a little minute, and oh my gosh, I'm glad I'm talking about this because I need to watch her. But she's been helping me so much with my relationship with my mom and me understanding what happened and why my mom, has treated me the way that she has, when I really was I tried to show my appreciation for her as much as I could. And I poured my heart out to her about how I felt about her, and she didn't give me that same energy in return. When I said, I see the divinity in you, pretty much, I'm like, I see all your artistic talents is so inspiring, and you have inspired me to be a better artist. And I'm pouring out all these things to her, and she don't hit me back with none of that. And I don't want to get into the details of it because this video is not to slander her, because my hope And maybe this is naive. Maybe I shouldn't even have a hope. But my hope is that she will, like, maybe I'll reach out to her a year from now and she'll see the flaws in her ways. And, we'll be able to have a better relationship. But that's just a hope. I don't know if it'll ever be like that. But the message for today is, you have the right to love again. Your parents, more than likely, intentionally or unintentionally, subconsciously and consciously, and or made you feel that you shouldn't really love people too much. That you shouldn't trust people. Parents will always say, don't trust nobody. Don't trust nobody. You're not supposed to trust nobody. The paranoid parents that never really learned how to... Let me get away from the traffic because it's kind of noisy for me. I feel like I'm kind of yelling over it. But a lot of this paranoia comes from parents that never learn how to have healthy relationships with human beings. And this is something that I've learned. I didn't know this as a child. I just thought people are scary and, you should fear them, But what I realize is that's not the case. Everybody does not have it out for you. Everybody don't want to hurt you. Everybody's not going to hurt you. Everybody is not going to disrespect you. But I was raised to fear the world and to look at people like they ain't bleep, right? That was the philosophy that was ingrained in me as a child. Shout out to the makeupless Sydney with the bucket hat today. Ow. But that's what was ingrained in me. Trust people for what, right? But I realize now that I'm older and I'm getting better at, developing into who I am and developing relationships and things like that, I realized Mom was just scared of her own inability to have genuine connections with people. And one thing that I noticed, that I started to say to myself a lot when thinking about my mom and feel very frustrated, is that my mom always had this like poor me kind of mentality. Like, I just don't fit in with people. There's no point in me leaving the house to make friends because those people are not going to be able to, it's like that boohoo. No one's going to be able to understand me, right? I'm an outcast. No one's going to be able to understand, what I have been through. And I thought to myself, but Mom, do you make an effort to understand other people? Ooh. But do you though? Poor me, right? I can't go out and make friends because no one's going to be able to understand me. But do you try to understand other people? Do you try to be relatable for other people? You get what you give, right? I really thought my mom was a victim when I was a kid. I really thought that the world was just so unfair to her. And then I got older and I realized, no, Mom, you're unfair to your effing self. You are unfair to yourself. Because the things that my mom would cry about is so unrelatable, are things that are very common. Being an introvert is very common. Having anxiety, social anxiety, is very common. But she had this mindset, no one will understand. Any chance that she could get to play the victim, she played it. We are not the same. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. If I know that I have a poor social skill in this area, I'm going to work on it. I'm not going to say, oh, I give up. I'm not going to talk to anybody because I suck at communication and I'm not going to leave my house. I'm not going to try. That is crap to me. And that's why me and my mom butt heads. Because I'm very blunt. Because I feel like I've been through more than my mom. And I'm not crying about shit. She ain't never been homeless. Well, she's been through some things that are similar. Maybe she have. So I think she's been through something similar in her youth. But I just know she wasn't out there, couch surfing and sleeping in homeless shelters. I'm not saying she ain't been through none of the like. I feel like she probably did go through something in her 20s, like with housing, but that's neither here nor there. All I'm trying to say is all of that boo-hoo, poor me stuff, it don't get you nowhere. And she expects that she can do the boo-hoo, poor me, right? And then I'm going to do the boo-hoo, poor me, and then I'm going to disrespect Sydney, and Sydney going to want to be around me for the rest of her life. Boo-hoo, poor me, right? And then if I am not in a position, if I'm not where I want to be, I'm going to find a way to blame Sydney for it. And Sydney is just going to put up with it for the rest of her life. She's not going to see anything toxic about it. All of a sudden, Sydney's causing me trouble and she's in a whole nother city. I'm not going to tolerate it, right? I'm not. Because I was a family scapegoat ever since childhood and didn't know it. And now that I'm older and I've done the research, I know that that's what I was. But the message is, you have the right to love people. Just because your parents said that there's really nobody to love because everybody's bad, they were lying to themselves. They were lying to themselves. Deep down inside, they know that there are people out there worth being friends with. They just don't trust themselves in a friendship. I figured it out, ladies and gentlemen. I done figured it out. And that's why some people don't like me. And there's a certain specific type of person that don't like me. And it's the type of person that is addicted to pulling the wool over people's eyes and manipulating people, right? The narcissist who is very self-serving in everything they do, and they hope that you don't notice that. They're trying to act like that they're doing something to help you and benefit you when underneath it all they're doing it to benefit themselves. And that's what I grew up around. My family always, I'll give you this and I'll give you that. And every single time they would give me something, they would always throw it back in my face a little bit later on. New love is coming into our lives. Those who are victims of narcissistic abuse. And we have a choice of whether we want to analyze it and pick it apart and analyze it and pick it apart in fear. In fear that person is going to be just like our narcissistic family. Or we have the option to have a positive mind. You have the right to start new relationships. You don't have to live your life the way that your parents did. You can accept this new love that's coming into your life. And it is already here for me. I'm not trying to go into details of my life, but that new love is already here for me. Romantic, platonic, and I have fear, I have anxiety. But I know that I have a choice. I can look at it with all this angst, or I can just relax and enjoy the ride. It's a journey. If you're a victim of narcissistic abuse, it is not easy to remember that you deserve love. A part of the journey when it comes to narcissistic abuse is all about allowing yourself to love again. allowing yourself to trust again. And not just that, but allowing yourself to trust yourself again. Because a lot of us who are victims of narcissistic abuse, we have a tendency to attract other, narcissists after that relationship. Yeah, we have a tendency to attract narcissists when our parents also are narcissists, because a lot of the times we don't know that that's what they were. So somebody presents us a toxic form of love, and because that's what we're used to, we accept it with open arms. And then we realize, why don't I feel appreciated? I've already dealt with this in my childhood. Why am I dealing with this again? And it's because you haven't allowed yourself to accept better. Because you haven't learned that the love that you experienced, that love, that toxic love, that just wasn't healthy. And it was love with restraints. It was love with chains on it. It was conditional love. Because a narcissist cannot fully love people the way that they may deserve, because a narcissist doesn't know how to love themselves. So if a person shows you that they don't have the mental capacity to hold, the mental and emotional capacity to hold your love, leave them. What else is there to do? and I hear it all the time with friends who still have their narcissistic parents in their life. And the thought swarms around in my mind. That person is not going to be able to put up with that for very much longer. And I usually tell them, I'm like, at some point you're not going to want to put up with that. And there's going to get to a point, you're gonna reach your breaking point. You're gonna get tired of the disrespect, and you're gonna block them. So you have the right to fall madly and deeply in love, in whatever way that means for you. It could be you falling in love with your career. Maybe a narcissist pushed you away from your dreams. And now that they're gone, you can fall in love with that dream again. Because you don't have to deal with the weight over your shoulders of judgment. Oh, you're not going to really do good with that, right? When I was younger, this is more of a smaller thing, but I was like a teenager. I was like between the ages of 14 and 18. And I told my mom, I'm going to braid a friend's hair. Mind you, I'd never braided hair before. And she was like, really? Okay, well, if you mess up, don't come crying to me. And I'm like, thanks for the encouragement. And what happened was, I ended up practicing braiding on my own hair. And I became very good at it with only 2 tries. I messed up the first 2 times. It was ugly as hell. Then third time, it was looking good, sis. Couldn't nobody tell me nothing. And my mom was really impressed with how I braided hair, to the point where I was doing it better than her. I stuttered because it's like nerve-wracking as a black woman to say, yeah, I do hair better than my mom. But it is what it is. I braid hair better than my mom, in my humble opinion. Right? She would always complain about, oh, I can't catch the little hairs in the back, I don't know, and then leave all the hair out in the back. And I never had that issue. So, and this happened to me before. When I was building a desk, and I told my mom I wanted to do it by myself. She was like, okay. She really wanted to help me, and I was doing it perfectly fine, right? I was getting all the pieces together. It was this cheap little desk that I had when I was like a teenager, and she barged into my room and just was like, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you don't know what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Because she just didn't like that I wanted to grow up and do it on my own. And then she had to apologize because she was like, oh, wait, I was wrong. You are doing it right. And so I said, see, I told you I could do it on my own. But my mom would do that to me a lot. Like, she would always have this attitude of, whatever you do on your own, you're gonna fail at it, and you need me because I'm smarter, I got it, and you don't, you know. And that's what narcissism does. It puts you in this box. You don't want nobody to do anything because you can do it better, and then you always have to eat your words. But you have the right to love again. You have the right to fall in love with yourself again, or for the first time ever. You have the right to fall in love with your kids without the judgment. You have the right to just fall in love with life. And that's what I always just gotta tell myself, because I have this angst, this restlessness, this anxiety. Because when you go through all of that, and I've been through a lot, just this constant, like, housing issues, upheaval after upheaval, disruption after disruption. I'm living here for 1 month. The next thing you know, abruptly in the middle of the night, I gotta pack up all my stuff and live somewhere else. Because I didn't have the support that I should have had. I was kind of doing it all on my own. So I have this angst, because there's always some sudden changes. The thing is, I like change. Change is good. I'm not complaining, but it does put me on edge, because I've been through so many changes that I'm like, it's another one about to happen unexpectedly. Am I gonna have to pack my bags in any minute and go across the town again? So this journey for me is about falling in love, not just romantically, but falling in love with myself, falling in love with communicating with people, falling in love with making friends again, because my trust was butchered, chopped up, chewed up, and now I'm learning to trust again. And that's what my therapist told me recently, and it just felt really good to hear it out of her mouth, because I didn't say it like that, but she said it like that. She's like, sounds like you're learning to trust again. And so when a new man come in and he all sweet to me, I'm like, this is really good, but is this really you? I don't like that at all, but I'm working through it. But yeah, you have the right to fall in love with your pets, whatever it is. Fall in love with nature. Oh my goodness, I love nature. I'm obsessed. You have the right to fall in love with everything about life now that dark cloud of narcissism is off of you. The sun is shining and you can enjoy life now. So take life by the balls and have fun. Go on adventures. Try different foods at different restaurants across the world. Travel. Talk to a foreigner who can't speak English. Right? And make friends with them. Go to your favorite store and buy all the arts and crafts that you've been wanting to buy, and paint something and just have a blast. And this is something I'm saying to myself. I'm speaking this into my soul, from my soul to my soul, right? It's just time to enjoy life. And whatever gift God has given to you, whether it be a new home, new love, a new job, a new diet, whatever it is, just accept it with open arms and say, thank you, God. I'm going to do something really positive. I'm going to do something really positive with this gift. Thank you. That's all I have, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.